Janet Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow with another edition of Healthy Living for Expansions.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about coffee, because coffee is actually an excellent cleanser for your liver, believe it or not, and this is a French coffee press. Now, a lot of people are into getting all kinds of fancy electrical coffee type makers, which is fine, but if you want something simple and easy, I want to explain how this works. Now, for myself, this actually holds about 4 cups of coffee, but I like to just make 1 cup of coffee at a time. So what I do is I use the beans, but you can also use ground coffee, and it depends on how strong you want it. And I like my coffee pretty strong, so I have 4 tablespoons of coffee beans. I'm going to put in my little nut grinder here and just grind it up. Okay, and I'm going to take the top of your French press out. These make great gifts, by the way. They usually run somewhere around $25–30, depending where you are. Maybe as much as $40, but that's probably pushing it. I think if you look online, you can do a lot better than $40. Okay, so that goes in. Then what I do, this is the coffee cup I use, and somebody sent it to me. As you can see, they have put the Lion frequency on, so I enjoy using this. I take my hot water, not boiling, but just let it come to a boil and then cool down a little bit, about how much coffee I want, and a little bit more because it's going to absorb, the grounds will absorb, of course, some of the liquid. And pour that in. And you take a plastic spoon. Now, if you want to do a whole pot, my plastic spoon seems to be missing, so we'll use a measuring spoon. Anyway, the plastic spoon, you just kind of stir it around. And again, you can make as much coffee in here as you want. You just use more of the beans, and it depends on your taste. Then you take the top of your French press. It's got a place to pour. We're going to put this at the top, and we're going to make it so the place to pour is on the back. And we're just going to leave it sit here and let it brew for about 5 minutes, depending on how strong you want it. And while it's brewing, I just also want to tell you that you can also make loose leaf tea this way. So if you have loose leaf tea and you want to do several cups, not just one, you can also do it exactly the same way. You put your loose leaf tea in, you take your water, bring it to a boil, and then let it cool down so it's not boiling. Put it in, stir it up with your spoon, and then just let it steep as long as you want it. And then when you're all done, we're going to press this down, but let's just let it set for a few minutes before we do that so it can steep. Alright, so this is set for about 5 minutes, and we want to push this down really slowly, especially if it's filled with all the way to the top with hot water, because you can make a mess. It's very hot, and the steam and everything will, you could cause an explosion, so to speak. So then we just have a small cup in the bottom. So this is going to press down at the bottom. That'll hold the grounds, and then I'm going to turn it around so we can pour. Remember, I was telling you about the pouring spout. And this is going to be strong because, remember, I told you I like my coffee really strong. And you can remember how much water I put in it and how much is actually coming out because of the grounds in the bottom. So you can see the grounds are down here in the bottom. That's as far down as it will go, but if you have more cups of coffee, then obviously it's not going to go down as far. So all that you have to remember, you can see how black mine is because I told you I like it strong. Sometimes I like to add a little bit of goat milk into it. But anyway, it makes a nice cup of coffee. It's very easy to do. It's very good for your liver. And it will help you in a lot of ways. But again, be mindful of what you put into your body. This happens to be organic coffee beans. So thank you for joining me for another edition of Healthy Living with Janet Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow for Expansions.com.